Hey everybody, Sheri from Two Family Homestead has invited me to join in on a collab baking our favorite holiday dessert. This recipe has been in the family for a long time. I don't know if my mother was the first one to make it or if it goes back further than that. All I know is that this has been a holiday tradition ever since I can remember. And it was my father's favorite. Now, one ingredient that is required is getting harder and harder to find these days. I don't know, since we're new here in Kentucky, I haven't been able to find where it's been available in any of the stores here as yet. But I do know that I was able to get it through Amazon. The main ingredient is tart cherries, packed in water. Most cherry pies these days, they are extremely sweet. Too sweet for most of our taste. So, I mean, they're good, but it's way too much. Now, I have made this with artificial sweetener, and it comes out very nice. This stevia is really good with this. Use the stevia, is it called stevia pure? But in this case, since I'm going to be sharing the pies that I make with other individuals, I'm just going to use the straight sugar because I have no idea if they have any kind of issues with the sweetener that I would use. Generally, people don't have problems with sugar unless they're diabetic. But this is not a super sweet pie. And you can also adjust it to suit your taste. Another thing I'm going to be doing, cheating, is because, as you can see, my home is still a construction zone, and I still don't have everything out of storage yet. But I'm going to cheat, and I'm going to use the pre-made Pillsbury pie crust. Not because I'm a spokesperson for Pillsbury, but because this is the only product that I've been able to find where they make it with lard. Now, of course, if lard is an issue for you, make your own pie crust or, find a different product. But I have issues with some of the other fats that are used in the commercially produced pie crust, and the lard is best for me. So that's what I'm using. And again, since I'm going to be sharing these pies with other people, I'm also using the throwaway aluminum foil pans. This recipe, generally, it makes enough filling for 2 10-inch pies. These are smaller. They are 8 3/4 inches. And if I don't make them too deep, I could get 3, possibly 4 pies out of it. It all depends. So let's get started. Okay, one of the first things I'm going to do is I'm going to preheat my oven to 400 degrees. And while that's preheating, I'm going to start to drain 8 cans of the red tart cherries. And try to resist the temptation to start scarfing the cherries up. Okay, I'll be back after I get all 8 cans done. Okay, as you can see, 8 cans pretty much filled up my colander. And I stuck it on a pie plate because sometimes you still get a little bit of juice. Now, the liquid, you measure out your liquid, and you're supposed to have about 1 cup per can. So whatever your juice comes to, you want to add some water just to bring it up to about 8 cups if you're using 8 cans. Okay? Now, I got to get this boiling. And then while that's getting heated up, I'm going to get ready my cornstarch. I'm using non-GMO cornstarch. And it's supposed to be 2 to 3 tablespoons per can. Okay? Everything is per can. So, okay. The problem I have is that half my kitchen's still in storage. Now, we don't have our water hooked up yet, so I'm using bottled water. Now, if I find that this does not get thick enough, I can add more. It's not rocket science. It's not written in stone. Just enough water to make a slurry. I lost count earlier, so I might actually have to add a little bit more. You know, you can add, but you can't take away. Oh, look, I did have a whisk. Isn't that wonderful? Now, after I added the slurry of cornstarch, I just let it come to a simmer until it gets thickened. Now, you see how nice and thick that is? It just kind of coats the spoon. That's about what you want. We have a little bit more juice from the cherries in here. We're going to add that in there. Don't want to waste a drop of that precious juice. Heat down a little bit. Turn that off. Now, here's a secret. Okay? And this is very important. 1 tablespoon of butter. Butter. Okay? Per can of cherries. So, I need 8 tablespoons of butter. Let that melt, and then I'm going to add the cherry. You wouldn't think it would make a difference, but that butter really does make a difference, because one year I forgot to add the butter. It's like, what did I do wrong? It was the butter. The butter makes a world of difference. Okay. Fall. Now I'm going to add the cherries. And hopefully I can do it without spilling them all over creation. I think I should have used the bigger pot. I think I will just get it in. Oh. A little bit of cherry juice. Okay, there's our pie filling, ready to be put in the pie shells. Let's get the pie shells together. Now, I don't have a rolling pin, so we're just going to wing it here. Now, if I was going to use this for a larger pie, and if I had a rolling pin, I'd just roll it out a little bit thinner. But this looks like this will do just nicely. So good. Now you want to be careful not to overfill because they will boil over and they will make a mess. Now my mother, when she made these, she had all kinds of different kinds of cookie cutters. And when she made them for Thanksgiving, she would cut out turkeys and put turkeys on the top. And for Christmas, she would either do Santa Clauses or, I don't remember if she had a nativity set. I think she had a nativity cutter at one point. Stars. She'd make them look festive. Well, I don't know where my cookie cutters are. And I don't think I have quite the array that she had. I had stars, but I didn't have anything else. So we are going to try and fancy these up another way. I'm trying to avoid rolling anything out because I don't have any flour. At least not that I'm aware of. I haven't got everything unpacked. There's one ready for the oven. And my mother used to take these trimmings and she used to make cinnamon rolls. Roll them out. Well, I don't have a rolling pin, so there will be no cinnamon sugar. We used to call them pinwheels. I don't know if you can do this with long nails. I keep my nails short. Alright, there's crimped pie. Now you need to cut the vent. Okay, here I have 4 pies ready to go in the oven. I said 3 of them are going to be gifts. So, and I still have pie filling left over. So I'll probably put that in the fridge because I don't have any pie crust left. So, it'll keep. I'll keep it for, make one more pie, probably closer to Thanksgiving, which I think is next week. But these are going to go in the oven, 400 degrees for about 45 to 55 minutes. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the foil around the edges because I know the edges are going to get a little darker than what I would like. So I'm going to put the foil around the edges. I'm going to put them in the oven, and I'll show you what they look like when they come out. Here we go. 4 freshly baked cherry pies. 3 of which are gifts, and I guess we'll eat the one that didn't come out so good. And if you stay tuned, I'll taste this for you tomorrow morning because they have to cool and then be refrigerated for them to set properly. Well, the pies had a chance to cool off in the refrigerator, and let's see how she turned out. The crust looks nice and flaky. Nice golden brown color on the top. Like I said, I had 4 pies in the oven, set at 400 degrees, and I cooked it for the full 55 minutes. Look at that pie. Doesn't that look yummy? Set nicely. First piece, there's always a couple that stick in there. Now for the taste test. I said before, this is a recipe that has been in the family since I can remember. My mother always made it for every Thanksgiving and every Christmas. It was my father's favorite, and it was just a family favorite. It was a tradition. Chilled up nicely. Oh yeah. Not sickening sweet. For 8 cans of cherries, I only put in 1.5 cups of sugar. I probably could have gotten away with only 1 cup, but since I was making most of the pies for other people. Now another thing I would do, I meant to do that for this one, is I meant to lower my rack down to the next to the lowest, because the bottom crust could stand to be just a little bit better cooked. But it's not bad. Not bad at all. Oh yeah. My mother would be proud, and my father would be satisfied. So again, the recipe is 8 cans of red tart cherries in water. Not in syrup, but in water. Okay? The brand that I used was Oregon, but I think Lucky has them as well. I've seen Lucky with that kind of cherry. And then you drain the water, you drain the juice, measure out your liquid, and you want approximately 8 cups total of liquid. Whatever amount you need to make up from the juice of the cherries, just add water to make up 8 cups. Then you add your sugar. You're going to bring the juice to a boil, and the cornstarch is about 2 tablespoons per can. I had lost count when I was measuring out, so I just went with what I had, and it seemed like it needed to be thickened a little bit more, so I added a little bit more. Okay. And then a very important part is the 1 tablespoon of butter per can of cherries. So I put in 8 tablespoons of butter, and it makes a huge difference. So don't forget the butter. I did one time, couldn't figure out what was wrong with it. It's the butter. Put in your pie shells. It cooks in the oven at 400 degrees for about 45 to 55 minutes. I said, today I took it to the full 55 minutes. But at one point I had to, because I had 4 pies in my oven, I had to switch them around so they'd cook evenly. So I think that's why I needed the extra 10 minutes. But you know your oven best, whatever works. You want a nice golden brown color on your crust. Okay? Well, I hope that this has inspired you to try making your own cherry pie. And I hope you all have a happy Thanksgiving and a Merry Christmas. Talk to you later.